G.I. Joe, issue number 1. That's right, folks. We've had a few miniseries in the G.I. Joe section of the Energon universe. Duke, Cobra Commander, Scarlet, Destro. Well, now they're here. They're here to do a big G.I. Joe with characters that you have seen from the books. And that's pretty exciting, isn't it? I think it's kind of exciting. See what it's about. Have a good time. It's a fun book. We have Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley returning to do like the main book. They're the team that worked on Duke, which was, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's like the most classically G.I. Joe ever because it's about insane people doing insane stuff. And the majority of these characters are from the Duke miniseries. Actually, I think they all are. Because Scarlet had Storm Shadow and Jinx, and that was more like the Arashikage, and we're not really dealing with that yet in this book. We'll get there eventually. So the team as it stands, because that's how we're introduced to these characters. We'll get into that in a minute here, actually, because I just want to say Tom Riley is such a good artist, and I think Jordi Belair does a really good job of like giving that work, like just like making that imagery shine. The colors are so interesting. I'm trying to figure out like how I would describe this look. It's like a mix of classic pulpy comic book art with like military propaganda with like bright colors, but they're like saturated as well. It looks like the perfect blend of like an insane Michael Bay action movie with like 80s toys, but not being like overly complicated. I really dig it. If you remember the events of Duke, that book, he fought like a bat and he kind of like broke it and everyone thought he died, but he's like, actually, I'm going to go lead a G.I. Joe right now. So we get to meet the team, and he's talking to Colonel Hawk about like what this team's going to look like. We're first introduced to Rock and Roll, big guy with a bushy beard who likes firing guns, crazy son of a gun. Sergeant Stalker, very capable of defusing situations, capable man, very talented. We like to see it. We got Cover Girl. She was a model, but now she's like strong and like, you know, dangerous. We got Clutch, Duke's old friend who likes tinkering with machines. He's the Donatello of the group, but he's a little more sarcastic. And then Baroness is here. And she's the most like, what am I doing here? I hate this. So they're doing like a test right now, fighting some drones. Her guns suck, so she's like, I'm just going to stab this drone with a knife. So she does that. But then her jetpack fails, so she's going to fall from the sky, so Duke has to go save her. She's like, I hate this technology. Why am I even on this stupid team? These weapons are inferior. We're going to lose this race. And Duke's like, maybe. And Rock and Roll tries to calm him down, like, it's all right, dude. We're just doing a test. It's all going to be okay. But Duke's talking to Hawk later, like, she's right. Like, we are outgunned, outmatched. Like, we can't win this war. Whatever's coming, we're losing. We're screwed. We then cut to Springfield, USA, where Destro is leading his army. And he's like, so, Cobra Commander, we have all this cool Energon. We're very talented. We're a very good team. Very capable. We're doing great. And I want to show you something I've been working on. So we see Cobra Commander, like, out of uniform for a moment. He's, like, building, like, a robotic hand for himself. Just using, like, the snake venom and, like, the Energon to, like, rebuild himself stronger. He's like, all right, Destro, I think we're doing good, but the plans I have are greater than yours. But if you say you have something to show me, show me. So Destro brings out like a gun he built that fires pure Energon, and it like burns things and people. You're like, oh shit, okay, go hard. Cobra Commander's freaking out like, yes, this is awesome. Yes. We then cut away from that to go to Abu Dhabi, where we see there's like a club and it's like a no gun policy. Bunch of rich assholes are talking together. Then some guy in like a suit comes up and just punches like somebody in the face. He defeats them all, takes them all down until he's like left alone with like the guy he's trying to talk to. He's like, don't sell to Mars Industries. You ready to listen to me? He's like, yeah, okay. But then he gets pulled away. I don't know who this character is. If they revealed it in any of like the marketing for this book, I didn't see the marketing. I don't look at marketing for comic books. I like going in blind. And he's on the cover and he's got like a G.I. Joe logo, so it's somebody of note, I'll say that. But he gets like a ping on his phone saying, change your plans, return home. So he's going to head home. We then cut back to the pit, which is like the base they're building for G.I. Joe to happen. And Colonel Hawk's talking to Duke like, hey man, I know that test didn't go like great and everyone kind of got mad at each other, but we have the most important thing on the field we need, and that's a capable leader who's like an insane SOB, and that's you, Duke. I think you're going to do really good here, and your team's going to do fantastic. Oh, by the way, you guys have a mission tomorrow, so you're going to have a very busy day. We then cut to the next morning. The team is in a boardroom. We see that CoverGirl, she changed her hair color to blonde, which is just, I think, what we know her from. Look, my base knowledge of G.I. Joe comes from the action figures, and I can distinctly recall somebody named CoverGirl having a auburn hair color and then blonde at some point. So we also see that Clutch is like designing the vamp, which we'll probably get later on in the book, and Rock and Roll's like, dude, that needs more firepower. He's like, yeah, I agree. This is going pretty good. We're having a great time. Everyone's loving this so much. So then Duke shows up. It's like, okay, let's run down what we're going to be doing today. So, as you all know, Transformers exist. Here's Optimus Prime. That's not what he says. I'm just paraphrasing for you, the audience. Here's a big machine that we know is alive. They can turn themselves into vehicles. Well, a big hunk of metal just fell from the sky. And if you're reading Transformers, you know that this is like a piece of Cybertron. And as Duke is explaining this on like the opposite side of the page, we see that Destro is explaining it too. Basically what they're saying is, a lot of Energon shit can be in here. There's a lot of technology that we could acquire, we want to acquire, before other people acquire it. So we're going to go on the defensive and make sure nobody gets their hands on this technology. We like escort a part of it to a safe location, but we have a feeling Mars Industries is going to try to steal it. So Joe's, we're going to protect a random piece of Cybertronian technology, and Baroness hates that. She's like, we're babysitting? That's stupid. Stalker's like, yeah, it is. You can leave anytime you want. I don't want a war criminal on my team. She yells at him in Russian, and he's like, oh, yeah? And yells back. And she's like, how dare you? Duke's like, everyone shut up, okay? We're not enemies here. We're not fighting. We're just protecting some technology. And then all the systems go out, and then the screens turn to Cobra logos, and the G.I. Joes have to go to work. A helicopter comes to, like, attack them. It's just a big fight. It is a big fight. And it is pretty sick. If I'm being honest, I kind of like it. They break Rock and Roll's gun. He's like, shit. Well, I guess we're going to have to do G.I. Joe stuff. So Duke comes up with a plan. Rock and Roll, Clutch, and CoverGirl, they're going to like get the asset out of here. Stalker and Baroness are going to cover them. And Duke's going to take out the helicopter. So he jumps out the window, climbs up to the helicopter, and then we see like Destro and Cobra Commander watching like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's insane. This is like Conrad Hauser, right? Like, I thought he died. Why did he just jump into our helicopter? That's crazy. So, it's a big fight, big guns, everyone's shooting each other. That's when, like, the saturated colors work best because you just get to see, like, the flare and the bright lights of the guns firing. Somebody throws, like, a grenade next to Stalker. He's like, ah, shit. And then it blows up, and then the bigger, like, stronger Cobra soldiers show up with, like, the bigger guns that shoot lasers. They're like, holy shit, they got lasers? What the hell? So they're trying to get the asset out of there. Rock and Roll's like, I'll cover you guys. Get out of here. Go, go, go. He's fine. So he's getting beat up by like the strong soldiers. It ain't looking good. Not looking good for anybody. And you see Rock and Roll's like, I'll cover you guys. Get out of here. Just get that machine out of here. Hurry up. He's like, what are you doing, man? He's like, don't worry. I've been shot before. I can handle the light show. And then he just gets blasted with like all of the lasers. And I guess they saved the day, but they killed Rock and Roll, right? Like, he's been shot with Energon. That killed him, right? Shit, dude. That's awful, but it's cool. Like, yeah, let's see some casualties in here. I mean, I'd like to see more stuff going on with Rock and Roll, but we have hundreds of thousands of characters we could play with in G.I. Joe. If each of them get like a little moment where some of them die and like the main cast lives on, I'm fine with that. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's a fun way to end the issue. This was a really cool book. You know, it was a little bit different, and I appreciate that. It was going into some crazy directions, but it looks fantastic, and it's so well-paced. And this is what you want from a G.I. Joe book. I want big global politics that are bullshit and stupid. I also want insane colors and people in dumb costumes firing lasers at each other. That's what I want. Give me that and we'll be okay. We'll be on the same page if you can handle that base level. And you know what? This book is handling that on a base level, so I appreciate it so much. Very fun. I cannot wait to see where we're going to go from here. I can only imagine it's going to get more convoluted because guess what, folks? Guess what? We have so many more characters to play with. We still haven't revealed Snake Eyes, who's a key member. We still haven't had Megatron show up in this universe in a big way, and there's all the Void Rival stuff to play with that I haven't been reading, but maybe I should. We'll see, but yeah, this is a good start. So, G.I. Joe issue number 1, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.